and welcome to another Swords and Stitches. Today we are going to be celebrating the release of the new expansion pack, Heart of the Swarm, for Starcraft 2. I'm very excited because I love me some Zerg. I think that they are the best race. I really enjoy watching them. I'm enjoying playing them as I get better. But today what we're going to do is we are going to take one of the new symbols and put it onto some celebratory wine glasses so that while you are playing the expansion, you can also be fancy, drinking wine and such. So what I've done, there is a new symbol that is associated with Heart of the Swarm that is basically 2 Zerg units in a heart shape. So I will let my lovely editor put it somewhere so that you can see what it originally looks like, but I've made it a bit more abstract. I've turned it into a stencil. So that's what it looks like. And we are going to be able to turn this into a vinyl cutout and put it onto glass. And today, of course, we're going to use wine glasses because they are fancy. But anything made of glass can work. Fun fact, vinyl is what most decals are made out of. So it's just going to stick to the surface. And then we are going to use Armor Etch, which is an etching solution that you can find pretty much anywhere, but it is technically an acid. So be careful, don't get it on your skin, don't get it in your eyes, don't eat it, you know, the normal things. Beyond that, just making the actual stencil, we will need, you know, our Exacto knife, we will need a pencil, we will need a pen. If you have a cry cut and you can just be like, hey, make this thing and cut it out for me and make it beautiful, that's fantastic. We're just going to trace this onto some really obnoxious bright green vinyl because I thought that it was appropriate, and then cut it out ourselves. And then we can take our blue painter's tape and place it on top so that we keep the design all together and then transfer it onto the glass. And then we'll do the etching part. Are you ready? That was so much information, but I think that you can handle it. I think we can do this together. All right, so first part is we are going to take the vinyl, not the shiny, wonderful plastic side that's going to be sticking to it, but the back that's covering the sticky side. We're going to turn it over so that we're using that side, and then we're going to take our stencil and place it down, and then with a pencil, something with a very fine point, because these are a lot of little details, and it might feel like that makes it less structurally sound, but actually with all of these little details really close together, it's going to keep it in one place, which we want. So I'm just gonna go through and hold it down and remake all of these little parts. And what's great is, unlike the normal Zerg symbol, which has all sorts of swoopies and swirlies and whatnot, this is all just going to be straight lines for the most part, which is going to make it very easy for us to cut out by hand. Thank goodness. Someday, I'll get a cry cut. Someday I'll be that fancy, but that day is not today. If you wanna do this booty style, use blue painter's tape as our transfer paper and then cut things out with Exacto knives, you are in the right place. Easy peasy. So there we go. We have it all drawn on there. And then we're just going to cut it out very carefully. Make sure that, especially with this project, when you use your Exacto knife, you're using the very tip. Don't have a lot of extending cuts because that's going to make it so that the etching solution is going to want to slip in between those cuts. So we're going to be very careful and take our time and make sure that all of these lines are very precise. So I have done my stencils. They look kind of like messed up apples, but now we can take our transfer paper / blue painter's tape. And we are going to place it on top and just kind of like pat it down a little bit. If you want, you can use a card or something that's going to flatten it out if you need it. These are curved surfaces, so we're probably going to need this later. This is a hotel card from Paris that I accidentally stole, so that might come in use later. But now that we have this, make sure that, you know, it's just lightly patted down to all of the details. Now we can pull up the white paper. Oh, I'm trying to be careful. Don't ruin everything. So we peel that off. This is exactly how it is with a decal. You have the back side and then you have the transfer paper on the front. So now, oh, these are curved. This is gonna be so hard, but it's gonna work. It's gonna happen. Place it down, and then very lightly press it down. And this has a little bit of stretch to it. It'll act like it doesn't, but we'll have some stretch. It's going to curl up on the sides, and after we've taken our painter's tape off, we can make sure that it's all going to line up correctly. Okay, so that's what it looks like right now. So these areas that have little bubbles next to details, that's bad. We need to just smooth out all of the areas that are associated with a detail. And then if, you know, over on these edges it's curled up, that's fine. You just need to make sure that the integrity of the design is there. So now, when I put the etching solution on, it will have all of the details completely clear on there. So now I'm gonna do this to the other 2 wine glasses, and then I'll show you the 4th glass that we're going to do. That's going to be kind of our experiment. So we now have it applied to all 3 of our wine glasses. Now the 4th, which is just so that we can see the difference. So I decided to get a glass mug for myself because somehow I don't have any sort of a Starcraft mug, and I think that that's kind of sacrilegious. So I did just the general Zerg symbol on this one. Now, I did this one by hand as well, and it has lots of big old swoopies, so there are quite a few mistakes, but I think that I was able to kind of save it maybe a little bit. And then I also just applied it by hand. We're going to see the difference between straight lines and using transfer paper and lots of swoopy, crazy lines and doing it by hand, and see if there's any sort of a difference in the quality and the final product. Okay, are you guys ready? I'm totally gonna like etch this. All right. So again, don't get it on your skin. Just avoid that. So it comes out like that. And we're just gonna apply it in nice big clumps. You just want it all over. This is going to sit on here for 15 to 20 minutes. I like to leave it on as long as possible so that we make sure it's nice and dark. And in the middle, somewhere in there, like at the 10-minute mark, you're gonna wanna come in with a toothpick or some sort of pointy object and just kind of like swirl it around just a little bit to make sure that all of the little spots get covered, that there are no bubbles in there. Eventually this is going to have kind of like a crusty top. It's just going to dry, but right now it's going to be able to kind of slip and slide around a little bit. So you're going to want to set it down in a way where it's not going to be able to drip anywhere. If you leave it like this, for the most part it's just gonna stay where it is. But if it's upright, gravity will work its magic. Yay! So we're gonna leave that, let it sit for a little bit, and then we will come back and wash it off. All right, we've washed it off, and now is the moment of truth. We get to peel off the vinyl and see whether or not it's seeped underneath or if it is perfectly crisp. So let's do it. Oh gosh, I'm scared. There's our Heart of the Swarm symbol. Hopefully you can see it. It's actually pretty dark for etching standards from here, so hopefully yours comes out as crisp. And now I'm going to do the huge design that was put on by hand so that we can complete our experiment. And there is my fancy new Zerg mug that I am super excited about. Just gonna peel off all of these so that we have the full set, and then we can be super fancy for Heart of the Swarm. So that's it, that's the project. I hope that you enjoyed watching, and if you try this project, I hope that you will send me pictures or video response, something so that I can see your beautiful creations. If you are curious about the materials, I know that some of them were a little bit obscure, I will leave you links in the description so that you can find them. But otherwise, I hope that you enjoyed watching, and we will see you again for the next Swords and Stitches. Bye-bye. Mwah!